Hi, friends. This is Megan, and this is Mobility and Stretch aimed primarily at the lower body. So grab your mat, maybe some blocks and a blanket if you'd like to. And now with YouTube, since there are lots of restrictions with music, which I respect, I recommend just pausing the video and finding some upbeat music of your own. And always remember that this is your body, it's your practice. You do what's best for you. Honor your body, especially any injuries, and remember to breathe. So we start on our backs, knees bent. Pull the right knee towards the right armpit, hands on top of shins, and just circle that hip in either direction. And switch directions. Now straighten the right leg and raise that foot up to the sky as you pull back on the right hamstring. You can point and flex the foot and then circle the ankle in one direction while you're pulling back on the hamstring. And then switch directions. Relax the shoulders and head on the mat. Now cross the right ankle across the left knee for our supine pigeon or figure 4. If you want more, thread the right hand in between the legs and pull back on the left thigh or even the left shin. But try to bring those shoulders and head back to the mat. And then take that right foot off of the left leg and switch. So we pull the left knee into the armpit. Circle in one direction, allowing that left hip to open up and switch directions. Left foot comes up to the sky as we pull back on the left hamstring and start pointing and flexing the foot. Then circling the ankle in one direction and switching directions. Remembering to breathe. Cross the left ankle across the right knee for our supine pigeon. And again, you can thread through and grab behind that right thigh, or just stay where you are. You can grab the right shin. You can extend the right leg up to the sky even if you want that extra stretch. And just meet your body where it's at. Bring awareness into the hips. And we can now release those legs and bring the knees into the chest as we rock and roll forward and back 3 times, massaging the spine against the earth. Come up to a comfortable seat. So I'm turning to face the camera. You don't have to adjust unless you want to, but bring the soles of the feet together and just butterfly flutter. Flutter, flutter, flutter. You can always sit on a blanket here if that feels better for you and your body. Now extend the legs out in front of you, about as wide as the mat, and windshield wipe left and right, just letting the knees fall to the left and the right. From here, we come into deer pose. So we have one leg in front of us in an external rotation, and be mindful of the knees. And the other leg is internally rotated. So the leg off to the side, we have the knee in front and the foot and ankle towards the back. I paused the video so you can check this out, but even with my hips currently, there is a tendency to tilt away from the internally rotating hip. So just do your best to try to make sure both sitting bones are firmly on the ground. This may require you to bring your feet closer to the core of your body. And now for our movement. So fold the torso over the front leg, and then we try to just lift the back ankle off the mat very slightly. And then again, fold over the front leg and keeping the body where it is, keeping the knees on the ground, just lift that back ankle. 3rd time, fold over the front leg, and then a little tiny lift, the foot and ankle off the ground, and switch sides. Same thing, try to be neutral here with the sitting bones, folding over the front leg, rising back up, and then just a tiny little lift of the back ankle and foot, folding over. Sometimes I touch my knee or torso to really try to keep the body neutral and just have a movement in that back foot and ankle. It's a nice little test in range and mobility and can be very frustrating, so be kind to yourself if it's just the slightest movement. Now cross both legs in front of you and fold over them. Fingertips touch the ground and then crawl out as far as you can, like spider fingers. Rise up, switch the cross of the legs, and fold over again, allowing the fingertips to crawl out, feeling that stretch in the hips and the lower back. Relax the head and neck once you've gone as far as you can. Lift the torso back up and then bring your weight forward and come into a brief tabletop before you push the hips up and back for a down dog. Here we can bend the knees and even walk the dog by pedaling the feet out, creating length in the spine, gaze is between the feet. Lift the right leg up to the sky and then bend the leg and open the hip, allowing the right hip to stack over the left hip. Come back to square hips and do your best to step that right foot to the front of the mat and land in low lunge. So you can see here I'm 90-90, and then let's move it. So bring the hips forward, weight into the front leg, and then back to 90-90 neutral. So just a dynamic low lunge stretch here. Now bring the hip back over the back knee for half split, folding the front body over that right leg, most likely feeling sensation in that right hamstring. Option to drop the outside of the right foot towards the earth as far as you can comfortably go, and then bring the left hand over the right leg, perhaps getting into the IT band area. Bring the body back to center, bring the weight into the front leg. Step back to plank and go through your vinyasa if you have one, or just meet in down dog. Pedal it out a little bit and left leg lifts behind you to the sky. Bend the leg and then open that left hip, stacking the left hip over the right. Shoulders stay square here. Now come back to neutral with the hips and step the left foot to the front of the mat, low lunge, drop the back knee. Bring the torso up and forward. Weight goes into the front leg. Be mindful of the knee. If it comes over the ankle a little bit and your body's okay with it, that's okay. Just be mindful. And then come back to half split. Hips over the back knee, fold forward. Toes of the left foot pointing up to the sky, flex the foot. And again, option to drop the outside of the left foot towards the mat. Bring the right arm over the left leg to get into that IT band and breathe. Shift the body and weight back to center, forward, step back to plank, lower down to the mat, up dog or cobra, and then push back into down dog, tailbone up to the sky. Look between the hands, hop the feet up to meet the hands. Bring the feet as wide as the mat and sit back into your malasana squat. You can sit on a block if you'd like to and just stay there and just get into your squat, or you can rock and roll back with me and then rock and roll up to squat. This takes some ankle mobility as well. So I do this 3 times, rocking, massaging the spine along the ground, and then coming into squat. And now we're going to stay in our squat for a moment here. Bring the hands to prayer. Point the prayer down to the earth, up to the sky, down to the earth, just getting into the wrists. And then switch so the backs of the hands are touching and bring the prayer towards your body, sky to earth, sky to earth. And for fun, I love to end with a full rock and roll. Tap the toes behind my head and rise. That is hard to do with shoes on, by the way. So if you want to rock and roll up, I recommend trying it with bare feet. Thank you so much for joining. Move in your body. Thank yourself. I would love to hear from you. Feel free to comment below and like or subscribe if you appreciate this.